Well, good morning everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Cancer to Corner. And another day of training towards that Ironman goal. Decided to record today because this is my first workout, well, my first run back out since finishing the chemo cycle on Sunday. So I figured got a few things to talk about. So I figured I might as well bring the camera with me today while I get some more easy base miles in. Just before I go any further, obviously, if I'd appreciate if anybody could give the video a thumbs up. If you want to follow on with the training journey through the Ironman, obviously subscribe below, and if you want to keep an eye on how our fundraising is going, or just keep an eye on what I'm up to, links to my Just Giving page for brain tumour research below, and as is a link to my Strava, feel free to follow me on there. So yeah, let's get into it. Right, so firstly, it's worth pointing out today, I've got no idea how far I'm going to be running. What I tend to do when I finish my chemo cycle and I'm just getting back into the training, especially today, I'm still feeling quite sick, so I've had to drag myself out. I've just picked a route which is a bit of a different route than I normally do. I'm not 100% sure how far it goes or where it goes, but yeah, just getting out, exploring, really easy base miles, just keeping the heart rate below that magic 150 mark, which I like to try and stay below, and just doing a bit of exploring. But it should just be heading up to Shildon, which is essentially the next decent sized town over from Aycliffe, and then I'm gonna run down towards the Railway Museum, and then all the way along the line back to Aycliffe, and then back home. In my head I'm thinking it's going to be about somewhere around 10-12k, but I'll pop up on the screen now how far it is. Yeah, so we'll get into it. Yeah, so we'll get going, and we'll chat a bit more about how the chemo's gone this week when I'm somewhere quieter. We're now turning to run down what Strava calls the Elephant's Trunk, and having a rough idea of where I'm going. This is probably the highest point of the run, so that's the uphill section sorted. I think it's pretty much all downhill here, all the way along the line, and then it's pretty flat up the loop around here, so yeah, it's not so bad. Heart is a bit higher than what I'd hope, but just off the back of chemo I found that is kind of the crack. It does tend to make you work a lot harder for the same sort of effort. Just, I'm assuming it's due to the impact on your blood, so I can live with that. But so yeah, so while I try and keep it below 150 on my easy runs, you can't really rely on it when you've got this sort of drug coursing through your veins. But I suppose it teaches you to go off how you feel and how your legs feel, which might be more handy on the day if your water ever breaks. Sunny today, so you might not be able to see, but that off there in the distance, Brusselden Bank. It's yeah, that's Brusselden Bank. That's a decent climb on the bike for repeats, which certainly, as I'm trying to get more strength in my legs on the bike after the winter's over, I'll be hitting that quite a lot to try and get used to some of the peaks on the Bolton bike course. So, now heading out and away from Shildon, down on the railway lines. You can just see to my right here, train parked up in the Locomotion Railway Museum there, which if you've got young kids, it's a fantastic visit. Just found out how to drop back down a bit. Thought we could quickly go over how last week's chemo cycle went. So I think I'd mentioned in a previous video before that the effects of the chemo are pretty cumulative. So even in the weeks, the 3 weeks of the month where you're not taking the chemotherapy, it's still in your system, it's still doing its job, and you almost like top it up to the next level at the end of the month. And so over the 5-6 months you take it, the drug I use, the aim to get 4 in you, but 6 if possible. I've had 4 now, and that 4th month was really difficult last week. I spent most of the time just sparked out in bed. I was quite sick when I was up. Luckily I didn't throw up any times. The anti-sickness drugs did the job. Well, where was I? A phone call there. I've got to answer all the cases to the hospital, unfortunately, especially since all these COVID vaccines and that are starting to get dished out, and I want to know when I can have mine. But anyway, yeah, so month 4 was really difficult, and this is my first day back out training. This is the Tuesday, so it's 6 days after I started the chemo. I started last Wednesday, and first 2 days were fine, and from then, I mean, most days I was in bed nearly all day. There were times where, like the days when my daughter was at nursery, I was asleep probably until my wife came back home at 4 o'clock, which isn't ideal. I also show a photo here that I took this morning on my weigh-in. I like to weigh myself at the end of the chemo cycle because it's difficult to keep your appetite up, and you do tend to lose a bit of weight. I've lost about £2 over the last week, just purely from having my appetite being crap. So on that front, this week I'm starting to get back into easy training, and what I need to be doing is having probably quite a lot, just good quality, high calorie dense foods like nuts. I eat a lot of things like guacamole and stuff, which has a lot of good fat in it. Yeah, so I'll be eating plenty of that this week, trying to get plenty of protein in, and yeah, just lots of good calories back on board. Trying to get that couple of pound back, because I don't want to be too light, certainly not when I'm training lots. I'd rather keep a bit of weight while I'm training. Yeah, if you want to lose it, you can lose it for your race day. But yeah, I've never held a lot of fat anyway, so it's not a great surprise to me, but still, I'd like to try and keep on top of it. But right, it's a bit further on down this line. Enjoy the sunshine, make the most of it in the winter. You can see how blinding it is there. Woo. So as far as winter days go, this is a nice one. Let's go. who this is ahead of me, but I can see them ahead of me, so we're racing now. She doesn't know yet. What a lush day. Ah, eat my dust lady. What a dickhead. Well, it's actually a little bit longer than I thought it was. We're up to nearly 7 miles at the moment, but I'm stuck in the swampy woods, which I was hoping to have missed today, but I'll walk through this bit and try and pick the driest route through and then get home, walk the dog. So I think I'll wrap the video up there. No, I won't finish it like that. Basically what I was saying there, it froze up and I lost all the footage pretty much as I finished there, but yeah, as I was getting into just before it did cut me off, was obviously this time of year it's an important time of year for people, and it's difficult at the moment because of the whole COVID thing, but it has been all year. But I was listening to something the other day, and it said like sort of coming up to Christmas, as Christians you're kind of called to be a light in the darkness, and it got me thinking about what I do on the channel and what the point of the channel is, and that is exactly the point. It's I'm trying to show sort of someone, as in myself, going through a bit of a dark time, but that it's not all doom and gloom. Like, you can still set some good targets and do some good things in for a good cause as well. I mean, we've raised nearly £1,000. All the people who've watched the videos and contributed to the charity for brain tumour research over the course of the last 6 months since I've had the channel up, and I'm really proud of that. I think it's I'm really driven to get to that the 1 day total, which I think is the 2,700 and something quid. That's for the day's worth of research, and hopefully by the time we get the Ironman we can raise at least that, if not a lot more. But yeah, so I just wanted to take the opportunity to say thanks to everybody who supported along this year so far, just in case I forget doing the next video. Hopefully you'll stay tuned and follow along for the rest of the training all the way up to the Ironman and beyond. So thanks very much for watching if you've made it this far. Again, thanks very much. I'll catch you next time.